Hey guys, this is Jeff. Welcome to All Keys Pro. I had a different video planned for today, and I've even filmed half of it, but something happened yesterday in the world of synthesizers which feel like I have to address. And you've probably, if you're a lover of synthesizers like I am, probably already heard that Moog Music was bought out by a big music conglomerate called inMusic. And I just feel like this is honestly a national tragedy. I mean, that might be overstating, overdramatic, but to me, Moog Music is a huge source of pride to this country and what they have done worldwide to make all kinds of music popular, that, and not only popular, but possible. Classical music, rock music, funk music, experimental music, electronic music, all like sort of stemmed from Bob Moog's vision back in the 60s when he first made the Moog modular, and then later made the mini Moog, and all the great synths which followed. The past few years has been a great time for Moog. They produced this incredible instrument, which is one of my favorites, which is the Moog Matriarch. Behind me, I also have the Moog Grandmother. I like them for two different reasons, but I love both of them. I've played, over the years, I've played mini Moogs, and I've played multi-Moogs, and I've played poly Moogs, and I've played memory Moogs, and they're all just fantastic instruments. And I see that the people who are upset about this, like me, are people who have owned these instruments. And there's a contingency of people who've never played them, never owned them, and never really thought seriously about them because they have this prejudice that they think the instruments are too expensive. And I'm sorry guys, quality instruments, they just cost money to produce. And I have to say, I have to talk about the elephant in the room, and that's Behringer. And it's the people in Behringer that I've been having words with on the internet, and that's fine. If you love Behringer, good for you. Behringer's not going to have equipment in my studio. I've owned a few of their products because I've been tempted, like a lot of you. I had the Pro 1, which was supposedly a clone of the sequential Pro 1. It sounded pretty good. Not great. It sounded pretty good. Ultimately, I sold it because it was a drag to look at. It was a drag to touch. It was a drag to program. And ultimately, it didn't sound that good. It just sounded kind of meh, okay. And I find that to be true of most of their stuff. It's not terrible, but it's kind of meh, okay. Behringer is meh, okay. And it's the lovers of Behringer and the supporters of Behringer, and the people who are really on their sandboxes about Behringer are the ones who are saying, oh, this is no big deal. You know, Moog was on its way out for years, and they've just been relying on their legacy and their sound. Yeah, their legacy and their sound. Like the fact that a Moog synthesizer is in practically every professional recording studio in the world. How many Behringers do you see in professional recording studios? Maybe a few, maybe here and there, maybe some quirky little thing over in the corner. But Moogs have been on more hit records than any other synthesizer. That bass line, that lead sound. Chick Corea's lead sound was always a mini Moog. It was always frickin' amazing. Rick Wakeman always played Moogs. He played the mini Moogs, and he played the Moog modular. I've never owned a Moog modular. As you know, they're very expensive. I'd love to have one. The Moog 1 has been had a lot of controversy. It still seems like a really interesting instrument to me. And if for some reason I can afford one, I would nab one up in a second. And I got to tell you, it makes me wonder, are we getting into like the post-CBS, pre-CBS world here? Like with Fender amps? Is it going to be, pre-inMusic, post-inMusic? Are our Moogs going to go up in price? Maybe so. But I love my Moogs dearly. I hope to keep them for a lifetime. I know they'll last for a lifetime. If something goes wrong with them, I repair them in a second. I take them out to gigs. Even though these instruments don't have presets, I actually find that really interesting on gigs because it's a different way of interacting with the instrument, which is really organic. It's really hands-on, and it's really like a way to it's a way to access that kind of skill, that kind of programming skill that we've all worked on in the studio in real time. And let me tell you, when you're doing that live in real time, some different stuff comes out, and you might learn something that instead of just sitting in your studio with your DAW. I also have a DAW. I don't hate DAWs. So hang with me. I'm about to show you 5 reasons why you shouldn't get rid of your Moog and why you shouldn't get a Behringer. All right, guys, check it out. So there's many reasons that I love Moog synthesizers. The first one is probably the tones, the bass, the bottom end, and almost every Moog ever made has unbelievable bottom end, from the most expensive to the least expensive. It's the filters, it's the oscillators, it's the analog circuitry, but it's really special. So I want to play you a little bass tone that I came up with today, kind of inspired by Stevie Wonder, and check it out. I love it. You will too. So yeah, Moog bass, right? It's almost a cliche, but like a lot of cliches, there's a reason it's a cliche, because it's killer. I'm sure Stevie played a Moog, and I know he also loved the ARPs and the early Yamahas, the Dream Machine. I'm sure he didn't play a Behringer. I'm sure that Stevie maybe has had his hands on one. I'm sure he didn't take it home and play it. I'm sure he has had his hands on the new Moog, and I'd be willing to bet that Stevie's studio is full of them, because it's a professional instrument. It's an instrument that we all love, and my fear is that this new buyout by this conglomerate is going to make all of this go away, and we're going to be forced to deal with the least common denominator. Second reason I love Moogs is the ability to make plucky little sequences. This sequence has a little bit of a swing, a little bit of a bounce to it, and I'm modulating the low-pass filter with the sample and hold out. So there's a certain randomness to how bright each of these notes are, which is the kind of thing I love. It's that sort of humanness that's injected into the technology. So check this out. Can get real plucky and more sustained. randomness of which notes are bright and which are darker, how that filter opens and closes. It's just really beautiful. I love that. All right, stay tuned for part 3. Reason number 3, tone. Every Moog I've ever laid my hands on, every Moog I've been happy to touch and play, has just this beautiful warm tone. And I made this little sequence, which is really, really simple, using 4 oscillators and a little bit of modulation in the beautiful ladder filter. And check it out. I think you'll agree with me that this is just, you can't duplicate this with anything else than a Moog. Here we go. Modulating the filter, I have it in an attenuator. Bring that up a little bit. Oh yeah, listen to how that filter just kind of blossoms. Love that. Little resonance. And speaking of resonance, I hear a lot of people on YouTube really like pushing resonance like crazy on their patches, and I think a lot of that is to make up for lack of like real beautiful tone. This really doesn't need resonance to be interesting and beautiful, but maybe a little resonance brings a little bit of sparkle here and there where we might want it. I'm also using the stereo delay here, which just the cost of this delay itself would be several $100s in the Moog series. Yeah, it's really beautiful. Dig it. Number 3. Stand by. Welcome back. The 4th reason that I am in love with Moog synthesizers is the filter. It's the ladder filter, and I've noticed that the ladder filter has kind of been under attack a little bit lately in the tech land online. So the ladder filter is really beautiful and rich. Yes, it does get thin if you crank up the resonance. It does get thin down low. It gets thinner, but that can actually work in your favor because sometimes like bass sounds can be just way too fat for the track. So you add just a little touch of that resonance. Acts a little bit like a high pass filter would on an EQ, which could be like maybe the perfect thing you need. It's never bothered me. I've always found ways to work around it, and I've always kind of found it to be kind of the creative character of programming the synth. But this filter is just flippin' beautiful. So I'll just play a few things messing with the filter. So the Moog filter, I had an issue with my camera when I was recording this, so I can't show you what I'm playing, but I want to comment on I did record the audio. And it's amazing. It's really beautiful. This filter, feel like the more I get to know it, the more I love it. So, so check this out. I'm just going to play this from my DAW and sort of tell you what is happening. So yeah, I'm just sort of playing some low tones here. You can hear there's a little bit of resonance there. There the resonance is off. You can hear sort of the bottom get much more full. Yeah, and there's some big time resonance. Wow, I love that. I love how smudgy that is, how the way that opens, and how much room there is from the filter being closed to open. There's so many sweet spots in between. More of a mid-range sound. You can just hear that filter buzzing along. Kind of mid-range. Wow. Nothing like that. It's a little pulse width modulation there to fatten up the tone. I love doing that. The filter just keeps its character all the way up. It doesn't get thinner as you play higher on the keyboard. Fat from the bottom to the top. Yeah. Got a little carried away there with the mod wheel. What's a guy supposed to do? It's a Moog. The possibilities are so intriguing. I'm a huge fan also of sequential. No great mystery there, as I love Moogs. I also love sequentials. I'm looking over here because I just got a Trigon 6, which I love. The Trigon 6 has a ladder filter. I don't like it as much as the ladder filter on the Moog. I still like it, but there's something special about the Moog ladder filter. Yeah, they're both 24 dB ladder filters, low-pass filters. One would think they would sound alike, but they don't. Maybe it's because the Trigon 6 stuff is voiced for a 6-voice synthesizer, not a mono synthesizer. But I do love this filter. I'm never disappointed in it. It's one of the main things that brings me back to this instrument day after day. Why it always brings a smile on my face to play it. It's just really beautiful. All right, hang on for the next little segment here, and that's going to be about soloing. All right, guys, this is my last segment. So today was a little bit of a rant. Sorry for that. I'm really not that kind of person. Well, I guess sometimes I am. But I'm very passionate about Moog synthesizers and the history of them. And remembering back in the day, the first time I ever heard a mini Moog and thought, oh my God, what is that? And now we live in a day and age where we can all get that sound. They're making Moogs again. At least they were until the other day. I hope they continue. I hope that inMusic does the right thing and uses their big money, huge corporate power to make some wonderful synths that we can all afford that sound great and have incredible quality. I am not... Hey, there's George the cat. George is not happy about the Moog situation either. Are you, George? Yeah, see? See? All the best cats and all the best people feel this way. So, my last reason for loving the Moog, and I'm not going to bash on Behringer anymore, this video, is soloing. And I love soloing. I have the grandmother here in front of me. The matriarch is behind me, which is what I've used for all the previous examples. There's something about soloing on the grandmother. I don't know. I like it almost more than soloing on the matriarch. The sounds are just really easily accessible and quick and wonderful, and it just feels like soloing on a mini Moog or something. So I created a very simple little track here in D minor, and I'm just going to solo on it a little bit and give you guys an idea of what I'm thinking about. forever, guys. I love it. Hope you do too. Subscribe, All Keys Pro. This is Jeff. Peace.